History of Fictitious, Volume 1, Story Number 4. Trail of Crumbs. Told by Charlotte. Written by his pencil. Prologue. After Terranil's emergence to Avani and Baldwin, Charlotte was famed for her part in the battle against the trolls and giants. For many years, she lived her life on Jack's farm. She helped his mother grow crops, and the two women were quite wealthy. And when Jack visited, he always brought them fine dresses. Life was so much better than before when she was a maid. However, too many people knew of her magic, and an angry mob torched the blooming crops. While Jack's mother had warmed to Charlotte, she became bitter towards magic once again. Charlotte fled to Amishi, where she kept her magic hidden and lived a quiet life with one of her family members. Jack searched for Charlotte in vain, thinking Amishi would be the last place she would take shelter. He eventually gave up, sold his farmland, and moved his mother to Cha-Na. Jack married Valerie, whom Xander bestowed the crown upon after he decided he was ill-suited for the throne. Together, Valerie and Jack ruled Cha-Na with grace and benevolence. Charlotte had heard the news, but she did not come out of hiding. She had no Pegasus, nor did she want to risk using her powers to reach the Sky Islands. So, Charlotte remained with her brother, learning to brew potions and selling them right under the authorities' noses or even directly to nobles themselves. In her old age, she caught wind of Channa's accomplishments. She was reminded of her adventure with Jack nearly 40 years ago and looked upon it with dread and hate. She began to question why she didn't receive a crown. She forgot about the gold, the dresses, and the luxury items Jack and Valerie had given her. Her memory was faded and decayed in darkness. She had been betrayed by Jack's mother and by the people who once praised her. In her mind, the whole world was filled with backstabbers and hypocrites. This section of history should not be taken lightly. Witches were established as a plague upon the land. Aside from Effa, most kingdoms saw witches as servants of darkness. Below is an account of Charlotte's darkest moment.
Chapter 1. I tapped my achy fingers on the rotten wooden table. My brother died. He was the last person I had left. I had no option but to marry if I wanted to live a better life. My days of being a maid were long gone, and I could not produce potions like my brother, which meant our buyers would no longer risk buying from me. However, marrying at my age would be nearly impossible, not to mention I did not meet many eligible rich men in my neighborhood. That was when I heard the news. As I was preparing for a life of poverty, two men passed by my open window. They spoke of Queen Valerie and her husband, Jack. When I first heard Jack's name, I couldn't remember why it sounded familiar, then memories flooded my mind. We were a duo that stole from trolls and giants. We helped defeat them, saving Cha-Na from its fate. For a time, people called me a hero. But then, they betrayed me. They hated me for my magic. I trusted Jack's mother, but she turned her back on me too. I knew she once feared magic, yet she opened her home to me. I never loved my mother. However, I did love Jack's. We'd stay up all night talking and boasting about our beautiful farmlands. She was a treacherous hag in the end. And Jack, well, he became a king and remained a hero. I clenched my fist but listened to the men's conversation intently. Yes, they are certainly amazing rulers. I'm impressed by how they have handled the large storm, the men continued outside, making me tempted to slam the window shut. Did you know they are hosting a charity ball? They want to use the money to fix the houses that got caught up in the storm. Some of the wealthiest gentlemen are attending. My, that does sound exciting. I would love to see such an event. Dear fellow, we can. All we have to do is bring food or materials to donate and dress decently, then the dance floor is ours. But how would we get up there? Neither of us own a Pegasus or know a ferry. They've thought of that as well. The Dragon Lord will command the largest dragons to escort people to Cha-Na, free of charge. Attend a ball and ride on a dragon? A payment of a few loaves of bread is nothing. I was just as enthused as the two men. I stood with a newfound energy. Several rich men were going to be at this ball, and all I had to do was attract one of them. My worries would be solved. However, I knew that being as old as I was, not many would glance my way even if they were older men. I needed to be younger and prettier. The only way to do that was to create a potion. Even if I couldn't find someone suitable, I might be able to snag a few items from the palace. After I closed the opened window, I went downstairs where I kept my possessions, an ornate brewing pot, ingredients, and the golden cage Valerie was once locked in. Jack had given me these items, hating the memories they held. I thought nothing of selling the pot and cage because they were items I could never part with. I realize now, as I rot away in a cell, that I could have lived a pleasant life without them. I pulled out one of my brother's books. He had been a wizard, and he recorded every potion he ever made. Only wizards could craft everlasting potions, so if I were to brew one to make me appear younger, I would need more than one vial. With my shaky and dry hands, I turned through the pages of the book, looking for something to change my appearance. I finally ran across an easy recipe that took little to make. All the ingredients were in my collection too. It was a potion that took you back to your best years. Without a second thought, I began to brew, filling the entire pot. By the end, I filled every vial my brother had left. The only remaining trick was to find something suitable to wear. I scraped through my chest of clothes, finding them all to be damaged in one way or another. The colors were faded or holes were picked into the fabric. Not only that, but I had sold many of the fine dresses Jack had given me a long time ago. Nothing that remained would catch the eye of any wealthy man. As I neared the bottom, I spotted my favorite gown. I had forgotten I had kept it. Fairies crafted the garment, so its light green color was still vibrant. My wrinkled hands traced the golden embroidery that extended from the bust to the waist. Threaded through the strings were glimmering beads. The design always reminded me of feathers. A line of beads trailed off to encircle the sheer sleeves. The bottom of the gown had the same feathered pattern. I knew it would do nicely,